Hello, hello. Happy to be live again for another Tuesday talk. How are you all doing? I know a lot of people started school, started back to teaching. How's it been going for you guys? I'm really curious with all the new procedures and the whole new way of education now. Um, Not much has changed for us, thankfully, but I know a lot of people have been jumping into homeschooling, or their schools are offering virtual school, which is also a good type of homeschool option. And yeah, how has it been going? I can only tell you guys about my homeschooling experience with my children. I never homeschooled. I went to public school. I went to all the public schools, probably not the best public schools. But here we are. I grew up in Reno, Nevada, and well, I just remember having friends that brought cigarettes and knives and guns to school. Maybe I didn't hang around the right crowd. I don't know. Um, and in Miami, middle school, high school, same, and fights. I was in fights. Not proud of it. And I was, yeah, not the best disciplined child. But college was a different story for me, and I got my AA and my bachelor's and all that good stuff. So, one of the questions that I get a lot about homeschooling is, if my kids will ever go to school or they're going to homeschool through high school. What about college and university and all that? So only the Most High knows. I can't think that far ahead. I already have anxiety on my daily basis. So I just take it day by day. And if they want to try school, which Jasmine did. So let me backtrack. My my daughter was born in Miami in 2012, and I taught or helped teach at a Waldorf school, daycare, like daycare type of school, for one school year. And so I was the after school care teacher, and I subbed in for the main teacher. So Jasmine was able to go with me there from 10 months. So she hung out with me there and got to play and do all the Waldorfy stuff with the other students and one particular boy that was always at the after school. And then in Panama, when we moved to Panama, she was 2 when we moved there, and I taught at a Montessori for a few months. And so she was able to also go to the Montessori school with me there from when she was 2 years, 2.5. And then we transitioned to the UAE. And in the UAE is more when I went through the whole unschooling with her. So unschooling, for those of you who don't know too much about that, is basically you just focus on what the child's interests are and not have like a set curriculum. But because I had already my experience, and my husband's a teacher, and my experience with being in Waldorf and Montessori, I implemented like a routine and a flow and that kind of things that I learned from Waldorf, and with Montessori, just implementing hands-on and observing her and how her learning skills and her learning style. I did for a month or two bring in a tutor that helped Jasmine with certain academic things, but then I realized she was doing things that I could do anyway. So I really what I wanted with the tutor was someone that would bring more projects and more fun things that that Jasmine would be more interested in doing, that I didn't have time to really plan out. but I couldn't find someone to do that there in UAE. I know maybe in other cities and other places there's more of that type of a tutor, but I just couldn't find that person in that particular city that we lived in UAE. So then I'm in a lot of homeschool groups and I follow a lot of homeschool people. And I started hearing about this curriculum called The Good and the Beautiful. So finally, when we moved to Beijing last summer, I did the assessments that the curriculum provides. It's the goodandthebeautiful.com, and it provides assessments so that you can purchase the correct level that the child is at. And so I had already been doing I was already starting grade 2 with Jasmine last summer. So we were already done with grade 1 type of work, and we were doing grade 2. Because of all the types of books and worksheets that I was purchasing and using, I could assess where she was at. So with the Good and the Beautiful, I did just that. I did the assessments with her, and I started her at the level for language arts and math in Beijing. So what we did is that we purchased the PDFs, and some of the PDFs they have for free, and we had it printed over there in Beijing since shipping would have cost more than even the books were worth. So that's how we started using parts of curriculum to supplement her academic. And then I'm still very much on the unschooling side, which is like letting them learn through play, letting them learn through what they're interested in, and also the Waldorf style, which is having a routine and a flow, and learning through what they do with me. So getting them involved in what I do, like a lot of the oil things that I do in the house, creating the DIY projects, we do them together, or baking, or chores, with things like that we do together. That's very Waldorf style. And also, of course, I'm Christian, so we do Bible studies and Bible stories, and a lot of that too. So in Beijing, Jasmine attended school because my husband works at a Montessori school in Beijing, and he's currently still working for them even though we're in Thailand, because they're still virtual. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the near future. Don't ask me. I have no idea. But for now, that's what's happening. And she went to school. She started on day 1. Noah also went to school, and he lasted the day, and we tried for the rest of the week, and he didn't want to go. So, I was happy about that. Actually, very happy that he decided to stay home. And Jasmine decided to stay in school. So she stayed in school from, I think school started at the end of August or middle of August last year, and she stayed until maybe end of September, close to October. For sure she wasn't there for her birthday, and her birthday is October 18th, so she had already chosen to stay home by then. So school was very interesting because, well, the schedule there was a little bit tricky, because also with my husband teaching there, it was a little bit complicated, because he had to go into school before her time to go to school. So for a few days, I would let her stay with me, and I would take her to school, and then pick her up from school, because he would get out after she got off. So that got to be a little bit taxing. It was very hard on my own routine, because I'm very free. I don't like to have an alarm that wakes me up in the morning, or have to be on somebody else's time. I have to get her to school on time and all this. It stresses me out. So I don't know how you guys do it, but more power to you. I don't like to do that. So then he started taking her and bringing her back. So her day got super long, so long that I only had 2 more or less hours in the day with her because they would get home so late. Sometimes they'd get home like at 6 p.m. And that was such a long day for her. And so when she would get home, she would give me attitude, and then I would feel very like pressured to make sure that her homework was done, and then she was learning Mandarin, so trying to help her with her Mandarin homework, and it was just very complicated for me. So, not gonna lie, I started praying that God would put on Jasmine's heart to stay home. I didn't want my husband or I to pressure her or help her decide in any way what she wanted to do. I don't know if that sounds wrong or not. I don't know if I'm making it sound is it coming out the right way? Does that sound wrong? I don't know. I wanted her to stay home. I really did. But I didn't want to tell her that. I wanted her to stay home. But I also didn't want her to feel like I wanted her to go to school. So I would just tell her, like, if you want to stay home, it's fine. Like, you don't have to go to school. If you want to sleep in, it's fine. And one night I prayed, God, please, 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 if it's your will, and if I'm not going against your will by praying this, please let it be that Jasmine chooses to stay home. And the next morning, I'm not even making this up, I heard my husband talking to Jasmine, and he said, go ask mommy. And Jasmine comes into the room. I'm still half asleep laying with Ruby. And she asked me, Mommy, can I stay home today? And so she stayed home. And that was a Friday. I remember it clearly. And so she stayed home on Friday, and the weekend passed. And on Monday, she went back to school. And then on Tuesday, she stayed home. On Wednesday, I think she went back. And then Thursday, Friday, she stayed home. And then I think that following week, she maybe tried one more time. And then I told her, look, your teachers don't want you to be coming and going. I think you kind of have to decide if you want to go or if you want to stay, because we need to organize ourselves. And I didn't tell her, I didn't pressure her, I didn't say it in a mean way or anything. That's just how I told her. And then she said, okay, then I want to stay home. And every day my husband would ask her, like, are you coming to school with me? Are you coming to school with me? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And I told him, look, she decided already. Please stop asking her. You're going to confuse her even more. So let's just leave her alone. And if she wants to try school again, she's going to have to do it next year. And she can try again next year at the beginning of the year again, if that's what she wants to try. But right now we need to organize ourselves with homeschool. I have a curriculum, and I have some ideas of extracurricular life stuff that we can do outside of just the academic learning. And so in Beijing, I don't know if you were following me on Instagram or anything, but once a week we were going to visit the horses, and we would do a scavenger hunt, and they would learn about the horses and how to take care of them. A few times they got to learn like actual horse riding class, not just like, oh, let's ride the pony. No, it's like, okay, this is how you take care of the horse, prepare the horse, approach the horse, and that it's not just a toy, this is actual animal, actual creature, etc., etc. So that was really fun. We got to visit lots of places in Beijing and learn Mandarin together. We learned a little bit. I don't even remember it anymore because we've been away for so long. But like counting and words and saying, yes, I have 3 kids, because I would get asked that all the time over there. And And then, yeah, Noah just was along for the ride. I never really did anything with him per se that was like, okay, sit down and count, sit down and read, sit down and write. Like, I never really did that. I started doing like artwork with him with like letters, and he would play games like Uno or Go Fish. The Go Fish cards had letters and animals, so he started associating that, but nothing specifically like a workbook, you know what I mean? But he started showing interest, like how come Jasmine gets books? How come Jazzy gets workbooks and school time books? So I started making note of that. But I was kind of in denial, like refusing to believe he was ready for school. So then we printed the books for Jasmine from The Good and the Beautiful, the language arts, math, and the marine science unit. And so we would just, some days, I didn't have a schedule for it. It was like a very loose schedule. So like a very loose routine type of flow. But now that we're in Thailand, so we left Beijing in February, and then we kind of settled down here in Thailand finally after some rocky months of not knowing what is happening in the world and what's happening in our lives and how long are we even going to be in Thailand. We moved into this villa, into this house, and so since then we've kind of had a better flow and a better homeschool life. Before, I was just kind of finding time here and there to encourage her to do something. I wasn't like, oh, I was going through some stuff, guys, to be honest. I think I shared with you all that I had a breakdown and a meltdown and how I'm overcoming that now. So if you haven't heard about that, if that's new to you, then go back a few videos to maybe the very first Tuesday talk. I talked about that. So now I'm homeschooling 2 kiddos, and they are doing really well. I'm surprised with Noah especially, and I think Noah liking it and being so so self-motivated encourages Jasmine, because sometimes breaking her away from the thing that she wants to do the most, which right now is writing her own little storybooks. She loves writing storybooks. So I have to say, okay, put the story aside. You can finish it after we do language arts or after we do math, whatever. And same with Noah. He's doing his little pre-K book and his math book, and then just whatever they want throughout the day. And I stop them to make sure they help me with chores, help me with baking or preparing food. Any little thing that they can help me with, I kind of encourage them to help me out. So like, for example, today Noah did some cutting with my husband. So just an idea of some things they can do outside of just the academic stuff. And I keep it very simple, guys. We are traveling and we are moving and we have no idea what our future holds. So I don't have like a big, beautiful chalkboard and whiteboard and a huge case, like bookcase of like books and like stations and things. Even when we were in UAE and we were there for 4 years, my home was very like minimalistic, and even all of their homeschool things and music and everything was very limited. Like everything was very simple. And if you haven't read this book called Simplicity Parenting, I highly recommend you guys read that book. It's about how keeping things simple like and small and minimalist helps the children with their imagination, their creativity, and their behavior. So I really recommend that book. Another book I recommend, a Waldorfy type of book, is called I think it's called uh, over the Rainbow Bridge or across the Rainbow Bridge or something like that. It's really helpful. I really love that book. So yeah, so right now our routine has changed, and it's going to continue to change. But like I told you guys, I have my morning routine where I have to do this before anyone can ask me for anything. I have to do this for myself first, fill up myself, get my own mind ready, and then I can help make breakfast or whatever it is that we're going to do in the morning. And then either we have time to do homeschool in the morning right after breakfast, or if Ruby really needs to take a nap, then I take her to nap. And then after her nap, we do school time. So it's still very loose and free flowing, day by day type of routine, but it works for us. So I don't know. I guess if I have said anything that's helpful, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. Even after the 100th time of doing these things, I still can't see comments. So my bad. Oh. Okay, well now I can see who's watching. Hi guys, hi Irene. They miss you. They always talk about you, by the way, Irene. They still always talk about you. Anyway, so I forgot to tell you guys that I just recently got this one for free with my order, Genius Kid Sense. Earlier this year, I had made a roller bottle because I ran out of Genius, so I kind of just looked up what's in it, and I kind of made my own. But now I'm happy that it's here because I saw on Instagram a homeschool mom just put this on the table, like this open bottle on the table where they were doing homeschool. Not even like in a diffuser or anything. She just put it like this in front of the child while they were doing homeschool, and that he was able to focus a little bit more. And then another one that I got, I think this one was free too because I saw an insect. Oh my goodness. I hope my eyes are deceiving me. Okay. And then another one I got is this one for, I think it was free. I don't remember ordering it, but this one's Common Sense. And don't we need this? Doesn't the world? Let's just like spray this out of a helicopter over the whole earth. It has frankincense, ylang-ylang. Oh, sorry, my alarm went off. It has goldenrod and rue and dorado azul and lime. So it smells amazing. I wish you guys can smell it. Common Sense. And look, this is this most simple way to use oils, guys. Just put it on your hand, rub your hands together, and this oil, I know it doesn't have any hot oils in it that's gonna make my skin feel weird, so I just go like this, right there on my frontal lobe, right there. That's it. Not only is it good for your skin, but your skin is soaking it up and it's going into your bloodstream and through your blood-brain barrier. And these molecules are so tiny in these oils that it goes into your cells, okay? Look it up. I'm not even making that stuff up. I read a book called The Chemistry of Essential Oils Made Simple by Dr. David Stewart, PhD chemist. He's amazing, and I read so much about oils, like it's craziness. But these two oils are so helpful. Okay, my friends, I wanted to keep it short and sweet, but I'm going to be writing a blog post about this. So I'll share it in the description once I finish writing it. Probably later tonight if I can, or tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful week and an awesome back to school. Bye, guys.